we're seeing a lot of teams this year avoid the second apron outside of Denver. But do you think the reason why we're hearing reports of the Pistons not willing to go to Duren's price point, which is reportedly like around the max, is because they don't want to be in kind of where Denver's at from a cap space perspective of being a second apron team and having that repeater tax?
Yes. I like flat out. Like I do think that is a huge part of their calculus. Like I even had the quote up right here because I was actually thinking about this earlier. Like James Dolan, after winning the championship, like the question was, are they going to bring back Mitchell Robinson? Are they going to bring back the team? Let them run it back because they won the championship. Like that's kind of the thought as well. If you're going to be in the second apron, do it with a team that won the title. But James Dolan compared being in the second apron to, like he said that that there are certain things in the NBA that you'd have to be suicidal to do. One of them is the second apron. And so when an owner is like so publicly coming out and saying, you'd have to be crazy to do that. And you want like another piece of evidence? You look at Oklahoma City. They just traded Atlanta Hawks, what feels like a third of their roster, this summer. And in part of why they had to do that was because of the insane tax bill that would have been on their end if they kept guys like Aaron Wiggins, if they kept guys, like Isaiah Joe that came to the Pistons, if they kept guys like Lou Dort. So the unfortunate reality when people are like, oh, I'm sick of Trajan, or I'm sick of like my teams not pushing in their chips and things like that. I understand that. Like when you're talking about the Lions, I have those frustrations myself. I understand when you're talking about other sports, but the reality is the NBA just got this crazy hard cap that came in a few years ago, and teams are still learning how to reckon with it and how to win with it. Mm-hmm. And we are in the beginning stage. And I'm not saying this as an excuse for Trajan. I'm saying this is a reality that everyone in the league is trying to navigate through right now. And this is like by far between the players, the agents, the owners. Well, not the owners, because it means they have to pay. They don't have to pay as much, like that's why they want it there. But also, there's the reality of like for the front office execs, like for everyone else, this is not a good thing.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think when you look at the direction of what this team is doing, obviously trying to get a deal done with Duren. Ausar, obviously they want to try to get an extension done with him as well. Yeah, it's just a difficult reality of terms of what teams have to deal with now when it comes to the second apron. And luckily to Trajan's benefit and the Pistons in general, from what we've seen since Cade was drafted here, is they've been able to kind of get away with not having to go and get that next big price tag, because Cade has done a great job with playing with whatever you give him. I don't think there's any other player or any other star in the league that has been able to maximize G League players around him as priority pieces while he's on the floor. Or like, I'm sorry, a lot of people have given so much credit to guys like Jalen Brunson. Like, I just don't think he would look the exact same if Tobias Harris, Malik Beasley, and Tim Hardaway Jr. were his like 3 out of top 4 or 5 players that he had to play with. I just don't think it would look the exact same. Even with guys like Ausar and JD as his, primary guys to work with. Fantastic talents, but they're still young and developing and still pretty raw in a lot of areas of their game. So knowing that you were able to kind of get away with where Cade is as an MVP level player, a guy that can raise your floor, he can raise your ceiling as well. The Pistons have been able to kind of be a little bit more patient with not having to push that button for certain players that will be a little bit more expensive than others, because you've been able to kind of work and win with, I don't want to call them cheap and be disrespectful, but just a lot as pricey tags to work with in players, because it's been yielding winning dividends for this team under the coaching of JB Bickerstaff, under the veteran assistance of guys like Tobias Harris. Now it gets a little bit different because now Tobias is gone, but again, his price tag wasn't super crazy with just the 2-year deal that he was on. But yeah, I definitely think that's something that they keep in mind for sure. Again, when you got to keep Duren happy with the deal that he's looking for. Obviously, they have different thoughts of what they want to give him, and you want to find a way to bring Ausar back as well and keep that core 3 together. I understand, but it's not going to be cheap, and it's not going to be easy, and they're trying to find the ways around it right now as we see.
Because how can you even think about getting a Kevin Durant when you don't even know what numbers you're going to be able to lock up those guys in?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like when you look at the Levert trade, like that was actually a move to give them a little bit, give them a little wiggle room with the salary cap, and they can obviously re-sign Duren with bird rights, and if they were willing to give him in the ballpark of 40 million, then you can kind of get a little bit into the luxury tax, and not be too close to the first apron. But I do think when you kind of look at the salary cap and how it's projected. The Pistons they'll be able to spend a little bit more money to surround the rest of the talent once they get Cade, Ausar, and Duren locked up. Now it's just a supporting cast to support your young talent and your young stars that you're trying to build around. I think right now they're being very strategic and smart with it, because I think we can all agree you were going to give Cade Cunningham that max regardless. Like there was no, you weren't going to question it. Now with Duren, obviously you have set a price of what you want to spend. We don't really know what that price tag is, but it's just right now just a blinking game to see who's going to blink first and sign that contract. And it sounds like Ausar is basically ready to sign whenever they get the Duren contract out situated.
But there was hesitancy with Duren before he had one of the biggest postseason, like regular season to postseason drop-offs in the history of basketball. Like there were already hesitations of him being a max player before he went out and had two of the worst consecutive back-to-back series we've seen from a young player who's extension eligible in the history of the league. Like, I hate to call it what it is, but that's just what it is. Not that I don't believe in where he's going to be. And don't get me wrong. I'm definitely kind of tired about talking of the saga too. I'm sure we all are, but this is the unfortunate reality of free agency. And if he wants to roll the dice on the qualifying offer, he can, but I think we would all agree that would probably be a tremendous mistake. So if he actually does that, I would look around and ask him to find me the example of where that's worked out.
Especially for a guy at 22 years old. Again, I understand with striking your iron while it's hot, but bro, you're 22 years old. You have time to go get that next bag. Like you're not starving for that next opportunity. When you came into the league, I think he was like the youngest or second youngest player to come into the NBA since when LeBron was drafted. Like you have time to make up for that, and you're still raw in a lot of your development. While a lot of the good things that we saw, came out of your game and how you flourished and how you developed. It was great to see. I think one of my favorite parts of the season was Sean asking, I think it was the Raptors coach, where you were asking Duren about his face-up game, and then he kind of shot it back and didn't want to give him too much credit, and then he had 30 points the same night.
That was a good scouting report, Darko. But I just Googled notable players who signed the qualifying offer. If you're looking for your most optimistic sign, you guys know who I'm going to say?
Not Nerlens Noel, right?
No. Greg Monroe.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Big moves.
He signed the qualifying offer with the Pistons. He's turned down a multi-year extension, and then he signed a big deal with the Milwaukee Bucks. If you're looking at who's the most successful, it's probably him or Nerlens Noel. But it's if the most successful guys you're looking to in this market are Greg Monroe, Miles Bridges, Nerlens Noel, Rodney Hood, Alex Len. It's that's not, you don't want to be on the list with those guys in any context.
He's already more accomplished than all of them, being all NBA and an all-star level player too. So granted, he's not going to get to that, but you don't want to even play around in that kind of environment. It just sounds like he's getting some weird advice right now in this process. Again, we've talked about it until we were blue in the face. We've seen everybody kind of go over the same things. This has gone on way longer than I thought it was going to, but hopefully reality come up sooner than later. We'll see.
If I'm being honest, boys, I don't think we see a resolution until September.
That's what Sean said. He said training camp is kind of the ideal. If I just had to take a stab at it, I think if I'm Duren, I'm taking a 3-year deal, because that puts me at 25 years old. Maybe the Pistons give him that $40 million that he wants, and you can kind of just test the market out again. But I mean, I don't think
deal with a player option on the third or something like that.
Yeah, if you can't come to a 5-year agreement of if you said give me $200 million, you could say here's 3 for what 120. Does he take it?
I mean, I hope, but
It's hard to be in his head right now.
yeah, that's the thing. I can't even like confidently say one way or another at this point. This has been...
When I see reports coming out of a player's camp that they want to be on checks notes, the Sacramento Kings, I have questions.
Yeah, I mean, the Instagram post that he had to turn the comments off. I was like, well, wow,
Yeah.
like that's kind of crazy. But
Yeah.
I don't blame him because I know how Pistons fans are. I mean, we see it scrolling on the timeline this offseason of just like how just in left field they are right now, just going at each other's throats over like pictures or workout videos or whatever it may be. Like the offseason, this is, to me as a spectator, most entertaining offseason on Twitter.
yeah, it's up there for sure. I can go
It's
with
certainly
that.
the craziest, that's for sure.